In studio, we want to take our next interview up right about now. And joining me in studio is the CEO of Ecosave Africa, Mr. Daniel Wanjuki. Mr. Daniel Wanjuki is an award-winning environmentalist and has done quite a lot of research, and not just research, has also been very pivotal in the practical engagement of helping us as a country to be more environmentally friendly, and of course also help us better manage our waste. So thank you so much, Daniel, for creating time for us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me over, and it's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Of course, it's very timely that we're having you. The World Cleanup Day is just coming up on the 18th of September. A lot is happening, I believe, from your end, even right now. Just let's start there. What is it that we should be looking out for? Right now, you are actually leading a very important campaign, Adopt a River, that targets the whole world and cleaning up our rivers globally. How is that even possible, and how are you going about this?
Thank you. Over a period of time, we've talked about the river cleaning. We've gone to the river and trying to do something about it. And the world it's not a Kenyan problem, actually. It's all over the world. Some countries have tried to clean their rivers, like the River Thames has been cleaned in a similar manner. And so the world woke up to the idea that, we can do something about our rivers so that we protect people who use these resources downstream. We've noticed that plastic and the wastewater, that water gets into the rivers, and innocently, an animal that has always, for years, taken water from the river will still do that. The same with humans. The people of Makueni or Machakos have not changed their source of water. They still go to the river. But up river, we know what is happening, that we actually call the rivers toxic rivers. So to protect those people using water downstream and give them the benefits, we call them the ecosystem services that a river should give them: irrigation, watering the animals, drinking water, cleaning, all that, and even recreation. With the United Nations, through and in partnership with Rotary International, came up with the idea of cleaning the rivers, and the project is dubbed Adopt a River Initiative. That is Rotary United Nations Adopt a River Initiative. And this we actually ideally was supposed to be launched here in Kenya. This is the pilot where the project was piloted. However, because of COVID, so many
things have happened.
A lot of time has been lost. So other countries have actually even started doing that. But here in Kenya, we are launching the project on 18th of September. It coincides with the World Cleanup Day. So we'll be doing the cleanup of the environment and also the Adopt a River project, which involves practically picking out waste from the river and also setting up traps that will prevent, these are traps that will capture debris, plastic bottles, stuff that end up in the river that now can be captured, and we pass this material to youths and the women groups who can use it as a source of income.
As you say that, I want you to really clarify on how to keep the waste from getting back to the rivers in the first place, because we've done like cleaning up Nairobi River. This is like a conversation that has been, we've had this conversation over and over for several years. That exercise of cleaning up Nairobi River, it's been done over and over. How do we then ensure that it's not just about cleaning the river, but actually not having any waste going to the rivers?
Thank you. It's true that previous attempts at cleaning the river have involved us wearing gumboots and raincoats and materials that help us to get into the river. Dangerous process because you don't know what lies inside there. I'm surprised the river just behind here has crocodiles. But when we go cleaning the river, we don't have actually any thought about what could happen to our people cleaning the river from the river channel itself. So the best way to clean the river is to prevent the river from getting the dirty stuff. What comes through the road channels, the storm drain, should not get into the river to pollute the river, because ideally the river should actually be clean. It's been there for millions of years, so why is it now clean dirty? The reason why it's dirty is because our road construction channels waste to the lowest point, which is the river. Our drainage systems are also manufactured and made such that when they break, like the sewer line breaks, everything is spewed out into the environment, and the storm drains take the water and drain it into the river channel. I would mention of the Mudura sewage, which has even gotten itself into songs and stuff, where people say that the Mudura river sewage breaks every two weeks, and there are reasons for that. But now, when you look at that, just as an example, it's happening all over. In the river, you still get sewage breaking, and it spews everything. The tissue paper, the plastic material used for sanitation. We get all that stuff getting to the river. But also, in addition to the solid waste, human waste, industrial waste, that is actually making the river very dirty.
So what you're known for, Mr. Wanjuki, is your efforts to help the entire globe, not just Kenya, to manage waste in the most health and cost-effective way.
Correct.
And I want us to get there. We are talking about waste management this particular morning, and on a basic level, what is your understanding of an effective waste management system?
Thank you. An effective waste management system is one that does not have any waste. At the end of the process, there should be no waste. That's why I've specialized in on-site waste management, where we actually champion such that your waste does not actually become waste in the environment. It actually, you turn it around. You can use that water for greening the environment. You can use it for carbon cleaning. You can discharge it to the environment in a safe manner. That is what we are calling the circular economy. If you get 1,000 liters from the Kaini, that 1,000 liters of water should not go to waste. It should go to some other use before finally you say, now I'm surrendering it to the environment. You can use the water 3 times. You use it for your kitchen cooking. You use it for bathing. Then you could turn this and use it for toilet flushing. You could turn this water around again and use it for greening. That's lawn irrigation. You could turn this water around and use it for feeding animals. You could use it for car washing, and by the time you are giving up this water,
it up to 3 times. I mean, imagine how that would actually be a boost, especially in urban areas where there is a serious shortage of water for domestic use. But we'll get to how possible this is in just a bit. I'm taking you there in just a bit. The reason I asked you to define an effective waste management system is I want you to look at what we are doing now, because yes, we have a budgetary allocation for waste management. We have something that the government is doing in waste management. What are we doing, and what is it different from, how is it different from what you're describing this morning?
Thank you. Our training, and I quote the standards that are taught here in University of Nairobi. What they teach our engineers on handling waste is such that waste is actually something that you should get rid of as fast as possible. As soon as you can be able to part ways with water that you just used for washing your hands. The system is such that you use that water to a septic tank that actually has no method of recycling.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Or even
you've
separating.
already used it.
Yeah, you've used it, but what have you added to your water? A few bacteria. It's not changed the character. It could go into your farm. You could use it for lawn irrigation. You could use it for hydroponics. You could do fish farming with this water. But our design and the way our students are taught, architectural students are taught, is that there's a small chamber for holding the water overnight. The following day is out, and it is dirty water. That's why we actually find that all over this country, every 5-15 minutes, there's an exhauster passing you. And these are tanks that can carry wastewater from Kiambu, Kikuyu town, taking to Ruai. Yet this water is just water that can actually be accepted by the ground. Farmers around Kiambu would use that water for irrigating their coffee farms.
So you want to tell me this water that is carried around in exhausters is the smell? I mean, the dirt, everything that is contained in this water, you want to tell me this water can be turned into something that can be reused?
That, what you're calling order, the technology we have developed as my company, Ecosave Africa, is that we eliminate odor instantly. Take odor out of water that is from your kitchen. Doesn't smell, doesn't have color, doesn't have an obnoxious material like other bacteria that can cause harm. That water becomes good. And you can use it, even contact with it is not inexpensive, it's not risky. You're not risking your life by touching your own water. Your own compound, any water generated in your own compound is safe water, because there's no animal that has just come into your system that you would want to kill with chlorine. So it's easy, it's possible by changing our thinking about waste, that this water can actually be recycled. I quote normally a country like Israel. Their prime minister is always on TV saying Israel recycles 90% of their wastewater. In fact, they're just stopping short of saying 100%, because it's a dry country. Here in Africa, a country like Namibia recycles their wastewater. They don't have rain like we do have the luxury of rain for every other week. They have to recycle that water. Here in Kenya, we should focus in areas like the Asals. The president declared some parts of this country as drought-stricken and that require emergency intervention.
Disaster, yeah.
Yet, yesterday I saw on a TV item, the whole of, the water passing through past Garissa, a river that is so huge, and with that water is clean water. But we let it go to the ocean, then we ask for aid to help us feed ourselves. Yet that water should actually not end up in the ocean.
So how is this all possible? Because what you're describing is a very beautiful vision, because many people would actually want to have as much water as they need, for their domestic use. How is this possible? What is it that you do? How do you transform that water into clean, usable water?
Thank you. We've developed a biological material that breaks down waste completely, breaks down proteins, oils, grease, carbohydrates, everything. And what you're left with is clear. Water as clean as you are drinking bottled drinking water. It has minerals that are even more than what you can get from borehole water. But these minerals are used for, as what was in your pizza. When we took the pizza, it went into your wastewater treatment system. Those minerals are still there. They are in milk. All those minerals, like you never hear people selling magnesium, which is in milk, as a fertilizer. We buy DAP, diammonium phosphate. We buy triple K. Nothing, no minerals like magnesium, manganese, zinc. They are not there, but they're in your wastewater. So before you let your wastewater go to waste, make sure you actually extract as much of the minerals as possible. The whole of Kajiado County is a dry zone. If it had the benefit of our wastewater from Ruai going past through Kajiado, it would be used for irrigation. It would have been filtered. The water is clean past all United Nations standards, WHO standards, KBC and NEMA. It's possible. Using a product we call EcoTreat, we've been able to turn the wastewater into such a clean water that there's no odor, there's no smell, there's no coloration, and there are no microorganisms like E. coli, which you would fear when you use that water. So it's possible. We're teaching the world. We're actually selling our technology to more than 12 countries, including Europe and America.
Don't let your wastewater go to waste. That's actually something you can tweet about. Anyway, so how safe is it? How safe is it? Because I believe there are standards. Even with the drinking water, there are standards that have to be observed. I mean, how safe is this water after you've recycled it using this particular procedure?
Recycled wastewater, especially when you do it on-site. On-site means that it's your own wastewater within your compound. We are not expecting that you are running a tannery, which would actually pollute the water to a condition that it's not usable. On-site waste management, all those estates in Nairobi, the Kirerechwa, from here going up to Kikuyu, there are no industries. Salthouse waste is not a dangerous waste, so it can actually be recycled. It does not contain heavy metals. That is, once you have characterized your wastewater into clean water, you can actually save water, then I can recycle it, clean it up, take it through all process, even into drinking. You can drink that water, you can use it for washing, so long as, and by this, there is no water that comes from outside this world. All the water we drink is recycled water. Only God takes longer to take it all the way to the ocean and make lane, and it comes in.
The natural recycling.
Yeah, the nature does it. So we are only cutting shorter the journey. And this absolutely nothing wrong with using recycled water to cool equipment in industries, to mix material for construction. There's nothing wrong with using that water. It's past their standards. And I personally, the kind of water we actually generate and give to the environment, and I'm saying this because NEMA, National Environment Management Authority, it's actually one of my clients, they use our system for their green points. It's past the highest standards, and that is what we should focus at. Past the standard, you can even raise the standards higher than the World Health Organization does.
So when you talk about this, Daniel, you know, managing wastewater, why is it important for us to begin thinking like that? Why is it important for us to ensure that no water goes to waste?
The first thing to imagine is that Nairobi was built in a river line, in a flood river area. But the water we have here, nobody takes water from our rivers here in Nairobi itself. Then we go to Sasumua and Nyandarua. Sasumua is in Nyandarua and Dakaine is in Murang'a. These people don't have enough water, yet we take their water, bring it to Nairobi. That's about 600 million liters per day. By midnight, all that water becomes waste. And we have to get more water from Dakaine to come and quench our thirst the following day. So you're talking about
every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable?
It is not sustainable, and yet when you talk about sustainability, the water from your kitchen, if it leaves your house, it goes to another industry. They can use it for turning leather or just even cooling the boilers and making steam from it, because it's not going to be taken. So this water that can now be available for other uses. Then you go to an area like, I use Kajiado because it's just next door. They have to dig deep 200, 300 meters to get borehole water to water their flowers in the flower farms. Yet, water that is from the borehole has salt, and they have to use a lot of equipment to remove salt from that water. Yet, if we just diverted our water from Nairobi, instead of going to Ruai, it goes this way, goes towards Namanga. It would help all those farmers handle horticultural farming, create more resources. We would be able to export grapes to Israel. It's the other way around at the moment. And we would do a lot of horticultural farming if we diverted water from our industrial, our treatment plants. Let us select the companies that discharge toxic material into the river. We isolate them. Let the exhausters only pick that and take it to somewhere they can dump it, or we can go and make it evaporate, prevent it from getting to our rivers. But any other water from a hotel, from a university like next here, from Kibera, there's nothing wrong with waste coming from Kibera. It's just soap. Our product, our technology actually takes out soap detergents from waste. There's nothing, completely nothing dangerous in that waste.
So this issue of water shortage, especially in urban areas, from where you sit, is it a problem we should be having?
We shouldn't be having shortage of fresh water. For example, the river passing through a few minutes, Group Cinema. All that water is going to waste, yet nothing. There's nothing dangerous in that water. The rivers has been cleaned, the river upstream. We've done some work that has enabled the slaughterhouse that used to discharge blood material into the river. Now they are no longer doing that, or it's been reduced. So this water should actually go into our freshwater systems. Even if we don't need all that volume, but allowed Shiromo area, we should have a place where you can capture clean water before it goes into Kariako slums. Use it, feed it to the next person who needs water around here, and progressively improve on the quality of water. I'm seeing nothing really coming from the slums that comes to make that water more dangerous to humans. Actually, it's just water. And so the technology we promote and the issue of now trying to train our plumbers, our engineers, into actually conceptualizing that waste recycling is acceptable. We've been in the past told that, get rid of water is out of sight. To your neighbor's compound, it's out of sight, so you forget about it. But let's try to see this as a valuable material that we can actually take back into the economy, and that's create what we are calling circular economy.
All right, Daniel, how flexible are we as a country in terms of embracing such new innovations in waste management? I'm sure you've interacted with stakeholders in this field. What are they telling you? Where are we at in terms of implementing or embracing or even just accepting that this idea can be viable?
I have interacted. Okay, one way, the Minister of Environment, Minister of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation awarded us an award that recognizes that aspect of ability to recycle water and use it for good things. So the government is focusing on that. I would also be glad to say that the government has taken our technology for incubation and multiplication through the Kenya Climate Innovation Center at Strathmore. We are the 2021 cohorts. We just completed the process. We've been able to supply to government institutions like the prisons. So there is acceptance of this technology, but it is too much piecemeal. One ministry gets convinced, they are happy about it, but the government in its entirety has not adopted this idea in a way that we would actually be making all our county governments establish wastewater treatment systems that recycles water, that allows that water to be used for other mundane uses like irrigation. That platform has not been opened up for us to be able to put that. And I'm glad to say also that the United Nations, through the United Nations global markets, buys our product. So we've hit that market. It's only one person who gets convinced from such a talk that comes and buy. But the technology of wastewater management should not be left to just just wishing that you do it. It should be a compulsory thing. It should be in the CBC. Today you talked about the CBC, the company-based curriculum. And that's actually what we are doing. We are actually trying to change the curriculum that is used at the Kenya Water Institute, TVETs, or the other TVETs that train plumbers, so that they actually open up their mind that it is possible to recycle wastewater and use it for other uses rather than maybe potable water, because maybe we are too comfortable.
Earlier when I was talking to you, you were talking to me about that difficulty you're facing in changing the mindset of Kenyans when it comes to this whole issue. I mean, talk to me about how you're going about it. You're currently engaged in quite a number of training institutions, training people. Why is this important? Why was it important for you to come from being a CEO to go to the classroom and actually start training those who, why is this important, and how is the country going to benefit from this? Yeah,
I've pointed out that the difficulty even in convincing our technocrats, our engineers, our architects. Today, if you buy the idea of wastewater recycling and you do a nice drawing and you take it to the city council, for the county government for approval, they will tell you, oh, this one doesn't look like what we know. They will tell you, just go draw the other one, the one that we know. That is the 1952 building code that has been taught in our university since then. And they want you to use that for approval. Then they tell you, when you go back to your construction, do whatever it is that those things you are imagining.
You can adjust.
You can adjust to that. And actually, I've had difficulties convincing city planners on how to adopt this technology. The other aspect is, and the reason why I have actually gone into the curriculum, changing the curriculum, is that we notice that when you are talking about greening or getting greener, the world is trying to become greener, there is no base foundation for that. Because when you recycle wastewater, your public health officer may come and actually take you to court for handling waste. I have had difficulties with the lecturers at the universities who say, no, I did this technology, but it failed, and so I'm not teaching my students this. Of course, now when we come with our technology, we actually taking them through the process of growing it. They see from the start. Now that the government has adopted it through the Climate Change Innovation Center, we are now bold to actually influence policymakers. We are doing an EIA, an environmental impact assessment on our technology that helps anybody with fears to actually see that we have taken care of those fears, those impacts and such on the curriculum, the new curriculum. So we are making a new curriculum that when your son or daughter go to learn construction, he learns about greening. Greening is where we say a building like this one should grow alone near later fruit garden, such. And this has not been easy because whenever you try to push it, the structure, the curriculum, the syllabus does not allow for that.
All right. Your role in environmental conservation, stands out. In 2019, is it? You were awarded, the Ecosave Award. Talk to us about this award and how significant it was for you as an environmentalist, and how it has shaped your way of life.
Thank you. In 2019, the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation held the second sanitation conference in Africa. The first one was in South Africa. The second one was in Nairobi at the KICC. And during that conference, we presented our proposal on how we do waste management. And when we presented our technology, the judges actually awarded us one of the highest awards. I would say we were actually ranked at the international category. We were given the most outstanding innovation in the international category for the and that is international. That means we were not
beyond
we were outside, and so nobody would come and say, okay, it's international, but south of the equator. Now it was actually the whole world. 67 countries were represented, and so the judges found that we had the best technology for waste management that was also coupled with a very important aspect of waste management, the elimination of methane gas during waste management. Most of the systems in the house the septic tank generate copious amount of methane gas, which is actually blamed for causing global warming. And in our technology, we have taken the equation, the methane forming equation out of the waste management. This is the first for the whole world. We will say proudly that this was the first, and that other countries have actually sold to the Americans, have delivered to their embassies here, and they have adopted that technology. I have to say that we are selling to United Nations global markets. They've seen the potential in actually eliminating methane gas from waste management. That pit latrine, the school pit latrine that generates bad odor, methane gas is being neutralized, and there is no more methane gas being generated from such sites. And that is actually, that should be a breaking news item if it were conceptualized like that one. And we say this at African technology. The bacteria we use is actually locally available. We got it from the soil, and we use it for controlling waste for industries, for domestic setups, and every other place like piggeries where we have slaughterhouse, any other food chain. We actually eliminate methane formation.
All right, using EcoTreat?
Using EcoTreat with digester.
All right, so we want to wind up this conversation, and many a times I've had this before, that Kenya, we actually lagging behind when it comes to waste management. Other countries have gone ahead of us, cite countries like Rwanda. I mean, what is it that we need to do different to get there? What is it, as your parting shot, what should we do different in terms of how we manage waste in this country? My first observation is that besides us having the award that we've repeated here in this forum many times, we don't see the government coming out to say, oh, we are unable to do this, can you help us? Because I know the county government of Nairobi has issues with wastewater
through the slums, their sewage keep on breaking. Some of their contractors come and buy our product when they want to just repair a section of the river, of the sewer line. I'm confusing with the river because they're actually almost synonymous. And they use our product to control bad odor or gases that are being generated during the repair. Sometimes when the sewer line repair can be so bad that you actually collapse there, you actually suffocate. And to stop that, they buy our product and use it for preparing the sewer line for repairs. So they know about it. We've also talked about the Kenya prisons using our product for a number of years. And then when you come to waste management, at whatever level, we are able to change that. Besides that, Kenya is actually garnering at reducing their contribution of carbon dioxide. This can be done by simply adopting eco-treat waste digester as the way we use whatever projects we do, wastewater management, schools, sewerage, and septics, using our product. It would actually cut down tremendously on our contribution of carbon dioxide to the environment.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Of course, talking about wastewater management this morning, I've been talking to Daniel Wanjuki, the CEO of Ecosave Africa. And of course, earlier we had a conversation around the competency-based curriculum. Currently, there is an ongoing forum at Hilton Hotel. Stakeholders are discussing the issues emanating from the implementation process. We will be giving you more details about that in some of the issues we are following up for you in the course of the day. My name is Serfine Achieng Ouma, and my son, language interpreter, has been Anne Wangeshi, of course, assisted earlier by Lensa Odingo. We are now going to be paving way for the Swahili team to take it over from here. We are going to be having Kurunzi Mashinani and later Tamrini, so do stand by for that. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.